Welcome to the Procurement Signal, the show that tunes into the future of procurement. In every episode, we dive straight into how modern teams are transforming supplier relationships, elevating vendor management, tackling supplier risk, and driving real sustainability impact. If you're ready to rewire procurement from a back-office function to a strategic powerhouse, you're in the right place. This is your signal. Amplify what procurement can be.
Hey there. In today's episode, we are going to shift the spotlight on sustainability, and specifically Scope 3 and Net Zero. In the world of carbon accounting, emissions are broken down into three categories, namely Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3. For most organizations, Scope 3 is the largest and most complex, often accounting for over 90% of a company's total footprint. From a procurement lens, Scope 3 is split into two. So there is the upstream, which is the buy side, and then the downstream, which is the sell side. Remember this, every time you sign a contract, you are essentially buying the carbon footprint of that supplier. Why? Well, that's just how carbon accounting works. Now let's look at net zero. While Scope 3 is a measurement, net zero is a balancing act. It is the balance between emissions produced by your organization versus emissions removed from the atmosphere through your organization's efforts. Don't confuse net zero with carbon neutral. The latter is about buying carbon offsets like planting trees to cancel out bad stuff. Net zero is much more than that. From a procurement lens, you cannot reach net zero by only looking at your own backyard. You must influence your suppliers to set their own net zero targets. If your suppliers don't go green, your organization stays in the red. So, what does this mean for procurement? Theoretically, it's quite simple. In order to lower your organization's footprint, you have to buy less, or you switch buying from cleaner, greener suppliers. And that's a strategic direction. However, when you get a knock on the door from the sustainability, legal, or finance team, they're usually coming to procurement for a compliance need. First, they will ask you for spend data and spend categories. So they're able to calculate spend-based Scope 3 emissions reporting. Once that's sorted out, they will then turn to wanting to know how many of our suppliers are already on the journey with measuring emissions and tracking to science-based targets. They might ask you to send out questionnaires or forms or any sort of mechanism to be able to collect data. Finally, legal may pop in a clause in all new supplier contracts, informing them of mandatory carbon reporting requirements. All these efforts point to counting carbon, not cutting it. In order to switch gears to reducing emissions, here are three specific areas. Number 1, update your category strategy. Add value in changing what we buy and how we buy it. This means updating the strategy to prioritize buying better, such as introducing concepts of circularity, usage of environmentally friendly materials, and prioritizing suppliers with the appropriate sustainability credentials. Number 2, invest in supplier development. You probably already have a list of fantastic long-term partners. Instead of just looking for new ones, invest the time to bring your existing suppliers on the journey. Perhaps you both could learn at the same time. You co-develop a training plan to get both your organizations aligned to current and future needs in lowering your carbon footprint. Number 3, product design. It should be no surprise that about 80% of your product's environmental impact is determined at the design phase. Procurement sits with engineering or research and development to influence design based on what's available and what's realistic to buy. If you are new to all of this and it seems overwhelming, begin with these 3 simple takeaways. First, start with your segmentation model. Add carbon as a key criteria. This will quickly illuminate hotspots. Next, fix your data. If you are aware your spend data is inconsistent or inaccurate, don't wait for the time where reporting becomes mandated. Finally, upskill your stakeholders. Your buyers need to know the difference between carbon neutral and net zero. They need to understand what an LCA is. Sustainability is a new language, and if we all don't speak it, we can't negotiate. Remember, net zero and scope 3 reporting is a business strategic direction. Procurement has an important role to drive the change. However, it cannot be done on its own. If your leadership does not support it or supports it only for compliance reasons, procurement has to adapt accordingly. And that's all for today's episode. Let me know if this was helpful in the comments, and we'll see you next time.
If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with a colleague or, even better, your leader. They'll thank you later. And that's what the Procurement Signal is here to do. Amplify the real value of procurement and help teams everywhere step into their strategic power. Please subscribe, share it with your team, and join us next time on another transformative procurement topic. Visit www.procurementsignal.com for more info. Stay curious and keep tuning into the signal.